Hello, students of history. This recording is for History 1530, Emerging Modern American History, 1865 to 1920. My name is Alex Archuleta. I will be the instructor for this course. I just wanted to take a minute to record this video and go over our syllabus, highlighting relevant assignments and how the course works, also answering any questions that have been posed so far. So, this course, History 1530, Emerging Modern American History, is an online survey course that examines U.S. history from the years of post-Civil War Reconstruction into the beginning of the 20th century. This class has a particular focus on the history of the American Southwest, because that's where a lot of my personal research lies. This course will cover major events relating to modern American history during this period, with an emphasis on how social, political, economic, and multicultural inclusiveness shaped our nation. This course will also explore the elements that developed the conditions, attitudes, and values of the decade, with an emphasis on the office of the American presidency, indigenous cultures, and social movements. So essentially what that means is through a lot of this history, we are going to look at these various events through the lens of the American presidency, through the lens of Native American cultures, and using the case studies of social movements throughout American history, such as post-Reconstruction after the Civil War and the modern civil rights movement of the 1960s and 1970s. Very important, History 1540, this course will be an asynchronous online course. That means we will not have regular meeting times. Each week, all the course content will be uploaded to our Canvas shell, and you will have that entire week from the date posted to complete any assignments, readings, and lectures at your own pace. So essentially, when you're navigating the modules in Canvas, upon completing a week, your next consecutive week in assignments should automatically open up because you will have fulfilled those prereqs. But just so you know, the weeks within History 1540 are separated on Canvas in the Modules tab. The Modules tab is the best way to view what content we are covering on a week-to-week basis. Now, some of the information contained here in the syllabus, such as the Compass curriculum information, I'm not going to go over that in detail. These are things that you can read on your own or come to me on a case-by-case basis, but I'm just going to highlight the most relevant aspects of this course for the purpose of this video. So, in these types of courses, like I mentioned, you're going to explore different ways of thinking and different lenses to view history through. This will be done by producing and discussing your knowledge via the discussion board, and we will also connect a lot of this history between other disciplines. Also, a huge emphasis will be placed on thinking critically and creatively at the required level of a university student. I know you guys are about to be new university students, so we are going to treat this class exactly as we would a undergraduate class at UCCS. So I'm going to skip down just a little bit here to the readings. You will have a significant amount of course readings that should be completed every week. The readings should be completed before you engage in your class discussion boards, as oftentimes the discussion will revolve around that week's reading. Now, all the readings will be available to view and download in the Canvas course shell. You'll be able to read all this and download it in the form of PDFs, ebooks, and web links that I've posted. These will be listed in the syllabus. You do not need to print online readings, but you should make yourself good notes to reference throughout the course. You will want to reference these materials for your midterm and final papers especially. Now, the main text that we are going to be used heavily throughout this course and will be provided in Canvas is Megan Kate Nelson's The Three-Cornered War, The Union, the Confederacy, and Native Peoples' Fight for the West. This book we will be reading select chapters of, and it highlights the end of the Civil War that took place in the American Southwest, most notably New Mexico. We will also be borrowing heavily from Michael Nelson's The Involving Presidency landmark documents. These are just a book of primary source documents containing the speeches and declarations of various presidents throughout the years. And of course, this is going to be relevant on a lot of levels as we view American history partially through the lens of the American presidency. Now, when it comes to course content, such as lectures, you will almost have a lecture to view every week, and those lectures will be listed in the course modules in Canvas. Many of these lectures will be recorded and posted and available to stream via Canvas. You are responsible for viewing these lectures as well as any relevant PowerPoint slides posted in Canvas. So even though these lectures are often pre-recorded, we're going to treat them exactly as you would going to a class. We expect you to watch these lectures. Usually there's a PowerPoint involved, and take notes just as you would as if I was the professor lecturing in class. Much of your relevant course content will be contained within these lectures, and much of your assignments and discussion posts will come from these lectures. So it's very important that you view the lecture week to week. Rarely there may not be a lecture, but there may be a set of PowerPoint slides for you to review. In those cases, please do review those slides, and I will note on the week that that information becomes relevant. Also within this class, we use several films, mostly documentaries. These documentaries will be available to stream using your Canvas course shell and your credentials at the Kramer Library. If you are accessing these films off campus, you will be required to log in using your campus email. Relevant links will also be provided in the Canvas course shell. If there are any specific questions accessing some of our resources within Canvas, such as the films, please let me know, as some of your student permissions may be different, and it's best I'm aware of that as soon as possible so we can rectify it. When it comes to late assignments, do your best to not miss any, but if you do miss an assignment, please let me know as soon as possible so we can come up with a plan to help you successfully get through this class. Also, I will accept late work through the end of the course with a penalty. Now, our main discussion posts and participation are going to be determined using the Canvas online discussion board. Each week you will have a discussion post that varies from week to week based on our course content, and you will be asked to answer a question or set of questions within a paragraph or two. These discussion posts will be the basis for our participation grade, and it is also our way of communicating with our peers and discussing the content that we have gone over in class. We will have a midterm in this class. It will be in the form of a midterm paper prompt. There will be a detailed prompt or set of questions uploaded, and for your midterm paper, you will be required to respond to that prompt using a standard college essay. And all of those specific details are posted in Canvas under the assignments module. Also throughout the course, you will have 3 taking sides analysis. Each of these are 50 points. This work will be based off the history that we are learning that week in class. In the case of these assignments, you will be required to look at a historical event and take a strong side stance on one side or the other, defending that using your research and relevant academic sources. And then finally, that brings us to our final research paper. It is worth 300 points. However, those 300 points are broken down into different stages that we'll cover throughout the class. This hopefully so when you're ready to put together your final draft for your final paper, you will already have a lot of the assembly to make that a successful paper, such as an annotated bibliography and your research paper proposal, in which you will pick what topic you would like to research, either choosing from a list or coming up with your own with my approval. And the final draft will be the brunt of the coursework when it comes to our finals. As I mentioned, participation in the class discussion board is very important. When you are leaving your discussion post each week, in addition to answering the questions yourself, you must include at least one substantive comment on a peer's post to expect full points for that week. All discussion posts are due 1 week from the date posted. And that will be the case with most every assignment you have. You will have at least a week from the date posted to complete it, and for the larger assignments, more time than that. We already went over the midterm prompt and our 3 taking sides analysis, as well as our research paper, which again will be broken up into stages of a proposal, annotated bibliography, and your final draft. Now, to ensure that you are keeping up on lectures and reading assignments, I do reserve the right to give pop quizzes. These quizzes cannot be made up if you miss them and will be given within Canvas. One real important aspect of this class is your written work. Since we are not going to have traditional tests in this course, all of your assessment will be based off your written writing and analysis skills. So all papers will be graded on analysis, argumentation, use of evidence, writing, and organization at the university level. So if you don't feel comfortable writing at the university level, please let me know or go to the Writing Center for help on your papers before they are due. Throughout this class, students must use proper citation formats, either MLA, APA, or Chicago. I don't care which, as long as you're consistent. And all assignments are due at the beginning of the class period. That's not really relevant. We're actually going to have all assignments due by 11:59 p.m. since we don't have a designated class period. And then a note on late papers, they will be penalized depending on how egregiously late they are. However, please, please, please do not hesitate to talk to me if you have a challenging period of your life coming up or you expect to miss an assignment. Again, knowing that I will be able to work with you so you come out successful in this course. Also, a lot of our plans for student success are made on a case-by-case basis, so do make sure you contact me if you are facing any kind of detail or any kind of issues, so I can help you guys with that. We will be using the basic university grading scale. I'm not going to go over that. It is in your syllabus if you wish to view that in more detail. Also, as we come upon the course schedule here, we'll review it week to week. If you ever become confused on what is going to be due that week or what is expected of you in terms of tasks within Canvas of that week, look at your syllabus. Most everything will be posted in there. And if it is not in your syllabus, feel free to email me and ask any kind of specific questions. But as you go forth throughout college, your syllabus, especially the week-to-week schedule, is kind of going to be your Bible. It's going to let you know what is due and when that is due and how to be successful within this course. Most always, I will have a section for what you need to watch in terms of a lecture or documentary. the reading that will need to be completed for that week, again posted in PDF form, as well as any relevant assignments that will be coming due that week. So just briefly, I wanted to summarize the course content going through each week of this class. If there are any specific questions about the course content, please take note of that and meet with me later so we can discuss that more in detail. Now, again, each week's tasks on here will correspond with that week's module within Canvas. When you log into Canvas, you will see within your class on the left-hand side a Modules tab. Click on that tab, and that tab will highlight what to expect each week for the course. You will notice in Canvas that not every week is listed through the end of the semester, just a few weeks at a time. This is because the modules have prerequisites. All that means is the next module of the following week will only open up upon reviewing and completing all the tasks for the previous week. After doing that, the next week's modules will open up automatically for you to view. However, if there are any problems with this, or it seems it's not working as it's supposed to, please let me know, as sometimes things do get glitchy. So just a brief overview of the week-to-week content of this class. Week 1, obviously, we already had introductions to class and each other. The only things for you to do this week was to review the syllabus, so review this video and make any notes yourself. And your assignment, if you haven't done it already, is the introductory discussion post. All you need to say in this post is your name and whatever else it asks for personally. It's really just there so you guys can get a feel for what we're expecting within discussion posts. Our major discussion posts are going to begin this week as we enter week 2, the Civil War in the West. This week, for instance, on week 2, your tasks within Canvas will be to watch the Civil War in the West and the Sand Creek Massacre lecture. You will also need to read the PDFs, The Three-Cornered War, and your assignment will be a true discussion post that's going to highlight some of the reading on the Battle of Glorieta Pass and the Sand Creek Massacre that you completed. So in earnest, we will be starting our course content week 2 of September 11th, which is today when this video will be posted. Since our class begins in 1865, that does correspond with the end of the American Civil War. So of course we begin a lot of our course content within the Civil War. And because I am a scholar of the American West, we do take a particular look at the Civil War in Colorado and northern New Mexico. Now, week 3, we are going to continue with the Civil War and into post-Civil War Reconstruction. Here, you will have various readings from Born a Slave narratives. These are narratives from individuals who were once in slavery and later freed after the Civil War. You will also have a discussion post and will need to watch any relevant lectures or documentaries in Canvas. So as you can see, the tasks each week are relatively similar. Week 4, we're going to be looking at gunboat diplomacy and the presidency of Teddy Roosevelt, with a particular emphasis on the development of the Panama Canal. Week 5, we'll be looking intimately at the American Southwest. We will watch a couple documentaries, and that week we'll have various short readings that will correspond with those documentaries and lectures. As we get into week 6, October 9th, we are going to be getting into the politics and history of Native American relocation within U.S. history and the removal of American Indians from their homeland onto reservations. and some of the details that take place within that. We will also have that week our first significant assignment that is due. That will be your taking sides number 1, which will be due by 11:59 p.m. at the end of week 6. And of course, detailed instructions for all assignments are posted in Canvas under the modules. In the very top module, it says assignments, and all of your course assignments are listed in there. And you can view them all ahead of time, even if you like. As we get into week 7 of the course, we're going to be examining European conquest, specifically within the Southwest, which means the Spanish conquest of the Southwest, and how that history plays into the modern history of not just Colorado, but the greater history of the United States and the American West, having implications that we still deal with today. Week 8 of October 23rd, we will be looking at settlement and trade. Week 9, production of the West, trade and conflict. Week 10, we will be taking a specific look and a specific case studies at the gold rush, particularly the Pikes Peak gold rush, which occurred right here in Colorado. You'll also notice that on week 10, you'll have your research paper proposal due. This is the first aspect of your final research paper. Again, these are staggered, so you're kind of completing these assignments one at a time. So that first research paper proposal will be due week 10. Week 11, we are going to be getting into the roots of American civil rights. We will be looking at civil rights in the American South, the Ku Klux Klan, and the rise of what we call the modern civil rights movements today. This includes the American Indian movement, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, and of course the Chicano rights movement. That week you will have several assignments and videos to watch within Canvas, and some of them, particularly the Emmett Till video, is difficult to watch and can be triggering. So as you get to that video, do note that that is a case, and if you need to skip that because of the brutality of it, you may do so. However, I do think it's important to view to understand what people were dealing with within the American civil rights movement. And that will bring us right into week 12, where we're going to be taking a specific case study at the American Indian movement in the United States. This is a social movement that often gets glossed over, especially as we get into the 1960s and 70s and start talking about Black nationalist movements, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, the Nation of Islam. So this is a specific case study we will look at that often gets overlooked in American history, and that is the American Indian movement. Some of these weeks will overlap, and some of these weeks may seem like they're historically out of line, and that's because they are a little bit. And just because of the content within this class, sometimes they may not go completely linear. For instance, when we talk about the American Indian movement, we're going to begin those roots in the 19th century. However, we will end it in the modern day. And that will bring us to our next week of World War I, which seems like a little bit of a regress. But in order to cover the full scope of this class, we will need to do that. So week 13, we will be looking at World War I. We'll be reading specific speeches by Woodrow Wilson and other primary source documents that are relevant, such as those underlining the Great Pandemic, the emergence of the Spanish flu. You'll also notice that that week you have your annotated bibliography due. If you have not done an annotated bibliography before, that is just your standard bibliography or works cited with the addition of an at least one paragraph synthesis of what the source is about. So that will be due week 13, and again is a major aspect of your final paper. Week 14 of December 4th, we will be getting into the Great Depression and New Deal politics, the presidency of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, We'll be looking at his first inaugural address, as well as some of his policies that he put in place to remove the American people from the Great Depression. Also on week 14, your assignment, Taking Sides number 3, your final Taking Sides assignment will be due by 11:59 p.m. Again, there's a specific prompt for that is within Canvas. Week 15, as we near the end of the course, we will be taking a long and hard look at World War II and how that played into what we'll call the atomic space race. During this week, we are going to handle a broad scope of information ranging from the beginning of World War II into the modern Cold War. And within this week, there will be a significant amount of reading and lectures to watch on this. When we get to week 16, you will have this entire week to work on your final research paper. So in essence, you will be putting together your paper proposal, your annotated bibliography, along with your additional research that you had completed to create this final research paper, which the details of are posted in Canvas under assignments. Your final research paper is more or less a standard research paper that you have probably completed in other classes. If you have any specific questions about how to complete a research paper, please let me know as soon as possible or go to the Writing Center. Your final research paper is due December 12th by 11:59 p.m. Because this is a significant portion of your grade, if you are unable to submit any papers or assignments online, again, please let me know so we can figure out a path to success for you. Now, the rest of the syllabus here I'm not going to go over because it's a lot of legal jargon and stuff that is just included legally throughout the end of this. But the most important thing to highlight is the UCCS Student Code of Conduct, which you have to abide by. And this just essentially means that you may not cheat in this class, and if I find you have cheated in any way, you will be disciplined accordingly. And this often ends with expulsion. So do not plagiarize, do not use ChatGPT. I have been teaching a very long time and I can tell when students are doing that. Also, there are tools in place that have oversight so you don't plagiarize, so you almost certainly will be caught. So just your best rule of thumb is never ever plagiarize or cheat. It can end very badly for you. So with that being said, I'll let you review the rest of the syllabus and come to me with any specific questions. And if there's anything I have not highlighted in this video, please let me know. And you can contact me via email. I prefer that you do contact me via email because if you send a message to me within Canvas, some of you have noticed that I do not always get it. So a foolproof way of contacting me is through my UCCS email that is provided at the top of this syllabus. Okay, so I look forward to meeting all of you, working with all of you this semester, and I think it's going to be a fun and successful semester for everyone. Thank you.